Yay, we're live.
Is it? Are we?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Carmen, and you guys have known me for a while. You guys know that I lost my mama 6 months ago, and I lost myself too. And in those 6 months, I was hurting. I was trying to find something that would work for me. As many of you know, I wasn't only my mama's caregiver. I was her daughter, and losing her was very, very hard on me. But I'm also a survivor, a cancer survivor. So I wanted to do this video with my friend Julie because we are very similar in so many things. Julie, can you just share a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Carmen, thanks so much for having me today, you guys over on the West Coast. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. My name is Julie Leonard. I am a mama of four. I am also a 5-year cancer survivor. I was diagnosed right before Carmen. So yay. So everybody make sure you're getting those mammograms and checking yourself first and foremost, right? We have similar stories. My mom passed almost 19 years ago. And Carmen and I have always connected on that faith journey that we've always had. We believe in Jesus Christ, and all the things that go along with that, and helping us getting through the different things that we had to go through, not only with our moms but with our health and things like that. So I'm just going to talk to you just a little bit about my health journey and give you a little bit of hope, because that's what I have to offer today, is hope. So about 5 years ago, like I said, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, and I went through chemo. And when you go through chemo, it medically induced me right into menopause, right? And so, I'm so glad I'm here to, tell the story, right? I say that all the time. But it also just came with like this an abundance of this giant explosion in my body. And I was 50 at the time. And after getting through that whole entire cancer journey, going into this crazy thing called menopause was just an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. We have to like get pregnant. We have to carry the babies. We have to deliver the babies. We have to raise the babies. And then all of us women have to go to this crazy thing called menopause. And it's not fun. Some of us get to go through it within a year. Some of us can go through it within like 10 years. And it just really takes the toll. When Carmen was talking about, she lost herself, her mama died, it was just all these things happen. Even, when you have a death, things happen and your body changes. We're not, 24 anymore. We're not 30 anymore. We're older, and we're going through these life changes. And we go to the doctors and we say, oh, I don't feel good, I have inflammation, I have joint pain, I have brain fog, I have hot sweats, I have night flat, hot sweats, hot flashes, night sweats, day flashes, whatever you want to call them. And we're sitting there just asking for help. And they're saying things like, well, just get your hand out of the chip bag, just walk a little bit longer, just take some more supplements that don't work, right? And you're sitting there going, what do you mean? Like, this is horrible. I feel like absolute craziness. I feel awful. I do not feel like myself anymore. I want to be active, but the bottom of my feet hurt so bad. These were things that happened to me, you guys. These are things I had horrific inflammation to the point where I couldn't even get my ring on anymore. I had brain fog. I had night sweats. I had hot flashes, like 30 a day, just like they just kept coming and coming. I can recall like being at my girlfriend's house over Thanksgiving. We would go there after we had dinner to play games with the kids and whatnot. I would like stand in her slider, and it was like 30 degrees outside. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot, just like pouring sweat. My kids are like, what are you doing, Mom? You're a nut. I can't help it. I'm so hot. But it was things like that. And then like getting up in the middle of the night, we all have to do that too, use the potty or whatever. And here I am, the bottom of my feet are just like, they're killing me. I felt like I was 90. I felt like, what in the heck is going on? And I just was miserable. I actually was on 11 different medications,
Wow.
one for everything. My cardiovascular health, no, it was a mess. Cardiovascular health was in the tank. I had trigger fingers, so at night my fingers would stick. So rheumatology had me on like 3 different anxiety medications thinking that was going to help. It never helped. They always wanted to just keep covering up, the problem, and nothing ever fixed. And I just felt like I was popping pills all day long. That's all I was. I was a pill popper. I joined a gym. I had a special nutritionist. I did 75 hard twice, even though my feet were killing me. I was bound and determined I was going to do it. I bought my Apple Watch. I did the 10,000 steps. When I tell you I exhausted myself for 3 years, I exhausted myself trying to get myself better and just to feel, how about let's just like feel happy, feel normal, have energy again. I have 4 kids, 25 to 11. I had a child late in life. I still want to be a young mom, right? I still have a ton of energy to give. I'm like, but I just couldn't figure it out. And I was definitely on the struggle bus. There's not a doubt in my mind. I was definitely mentally and physically on the struggle bus. And I know many of you out there are in this position because I talk to people all day long about this crazy thing called menopause, and we all have it, and we are all on the struggle bus at one time or another, right? So fast forward, I had a girlfriend of mine pop in my inbox. She's a dear friend of mine. I've known her for a very long time. I trust her and all the things. And she was like, hey, I know you're on the struggle bus. Have you ever tried any type of a GLP or peptide therapy? And I was like, are you talking about like the skinny shot? And are you talking about like Ozempic or something like that? And I was like, hell to the no. I'm going to come through this, call and like choke you out. I'm like, I am not doing that. Like, no, there's so many things that can go wrong. No, 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 and hard no. And she was like, Julie, you're a researcher. You're a huge researcher. I'm just going to say, I want you to start researching because I really feel like this could really, 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 really help you. And I was like, okay, I trust her completely. She gave me a platform to look at, which we're going to talk about. They had weekly calls with these doctors and functional medicine doctors and chiropractors about all these different things, tools that could help me. So I started watching these videos and started really going down the rabbit hole about how this could help me with all of my crazy symptoms and get me off 11 medications. And maybe it's going to help with my cardiovascular, right, issues too that I was having. I was on these crazy amounts of statins. I think I said that, but it was just getting worse and worse. So I started doing research. And what I found is that we all know this, if you have been through any type of cancer, cancer breeds in inflammation. And I was loaded with inflammation. So if you can prevent inflammation in your body, you're going to have a better shot of cancer not entering into your system and or maybe it not coming back. I'm not a doctor. This is just the research that I did. Then I also was researching Alzheimer's and what these medications were doing for Alzheimer's. Again, inflammation in your brain, Alzheimer's hangs out in there, right? So if you can get the inflammation controlled, maybe you'd have a chance of not, gaining this wonderful anxiety of going into all of that, right? Because that runs in my family too. And I was like, Alzheimer's, man, if I could get this, longevity wise under control, maybe this would help too. So I finally ended up going, all right, I am going to go talk to all of my doctors, which I recommend. Like, this is something I recommend. Talk to your doctors. And I talked to my rheumatologist, my oncologist, my cardiologist, and my general practitioner. And I got the A-OK from them. Now, I did strong arm them, and I did say, I'm going to do this because my research showed that this was going to be extremely positive in my life. And they said, no, we agree. We agree that we think that you should do this. So what I decided to do was microdose what is called tirzepatide along with B12. We compound here at LEMD, the platform that we're going to talk about. We compound our medications, which is great because we take all the goodness and we get rid of all the other ick. And we're able to do that. But what I realized was after 4 months of being on this medication, at a very tiny little dose, which is what was good for me, is that I got my life back. My inflammation was gone. I resized this wedding ring 3 times. 3 times, you guys. That's That's not just, losing weight. I lost 20 pounds of fluff. That's the amount of weight that I needed to lose. That's what I weighed when I had my last child. I weighed an additional 20 pounds. I was heavier, 20 pounds, going through this chemo, right? So I needed to get rid of that. I wanted to get rid of that 20 pounds. Got rid of the 20 pounds over 4 months. Um, my cardiovascular health was amazing. Numbers do not lie. Blood work does not lie. And I got off my statins, completely off my statins. Trigger finger went away because that was inflammation. The bottom of my feet felt fantastic. I was like running and walking and on the beach with my kids and not having to go home at 4:30 because I had to sit in the Cinderella chair. I was literally. I was just feeling amazing. The hot flashes went away, the night sweats went away, brain fog went away. I was feeling fantastic, and I got off all of my 11 medications. So for me, this was something that was like, holy cow. Did I plan on sharing this with other people like your audience, Carmen, or you? No, I didn't. But when I truly started this medication and going down this, phenomenal journey that made me feel like myself again, I was like, I had to share this. I had to change the conversation that was out there that was saying this is not good, because this was the best thing I could have done for my health. When you can get off 11 medications and your blood work looks as good as mine did, sign me up all day long, right? That's just truly how I felt about it. There are a couple things that I did when I went down the rabbit hole that I want to share with you guys. And Carmen was probably going to ask me this question, but I'm going to share this with you. It is very, 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 very important where you it is. And when I went down that rabbit hole, you can get this stuff, you guys, out there on the black market, the gray market. You can have your friends mixing this up in their kitchen, right? You can. But that's when you get in trouble. That's when you get in trouble with dosing. It's not prescribed by a doctor. You do not know where they're sourcing this from. You don't know who is making it. It is not good. That is where people are getting in trouble. That's where people are seeing they're having tummy issues, or they're seeing that they're not feeling well on the medication, or they're taking too much and they're like in the hospital. Like, that is not good. This has to be guided by a doctor. It has to be, sourced ethically. You have to have a platform in which you're going to find your medication that is safe and effective. Those were the two things that I wanted when I was going to start this: safe and effective. And that's when I found LEMD, because my girlfriend introduced me to this platform that had a ton of education attached to it, but also had medical staff that was there to have my medical intake form and prescribe individually for me. This company does not batch produce at all. They have their own pharmacy. It is a 503A compound pharmacy, which is FDA regulated. You guys, that's huge. That's huge, huge, huge. And again, it's individually. So when you go and you buy your medication through this telehealth company, you fill out a medical questionnaire, it goes to the doctor prescribes, it goes straight to our pharmacy, and they individualize every single order that they have that comes through, every single one of them for you, so that you know that you are getting, it's triple tested, right? We triple test, and you have COAs on everything, and you know that you're getting something that is potent, not watered down. There are many times that people come to me and go, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I'm like, well, have you ever tried Ellie's? Because ours is 99% pure. Like, you can't get purer than that, right? So, and then they ship it straight to you within, 7 to 10 business days, and it comes right to your house. So it's not like you got to like get all dialed up, shave your legs, put your makeup on, go to the doctor. You don't have to do all of that stuff. You can do it in the comfort of your home. And if you ever need to talk to a doctor, you can. We have a patient portal, just like you do, with any of your other doctors that you may have. We have a patient portal that's HIPAA guided and regulated again. And if you need to speak to a doctor, you can, which is great. The other thing that I loved about Ellie, when I first started, I didn't even know what this word peptide was. I had no idea what it was. All I knew is that, I was told that this is going to be a huge buzzword, in the coming years. And it is. I mean, we saw it all over the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I guess it's a buzzword. But people ask me all the time, like, what are you talking about, Julie? Like, what is a peptide? It's simple, lame terms. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm not a doctor. So I'm going to tell you in the easy, lame terms that I know. It is a chain of teeny tiny, fragile little amino acids that we already produce in our body. This is just a little something, like a little boost, a little burst of hope that you inject in yourself. And sometimes you don't even have to. Sometimes you can do a nasal spray, or you can do an oral medication with peptides. Come in all different types of delivery. But just a little bitty type of amino acid, a little chain of amino acids that go in there and they trigger your brain to go, hello, it's time to wake up. Hello, it's time to feel, and hello. And that's all it does. It just sends a signal to your brain, and it does what these medicines are meant to do. And that is just make you feel amazing. There is a peptide for everything, you guys. There is a peptide for skincare. There's a peptide for hair care. There's a peptide for nail care. There's a peptide for inflammation. There's a peptide for energy. There's a peptide for sleep. There's a peptide for recovery. There are peptides for every single thing. And I loved that LEMD had something for everybody. They had a weight loss category, they had a longevity category, they had a skincare category, and they had a sexual health category. I loved that this was a place in which that I was going to know that was safe and effective, and they had something to offer, like wide range. And peptides work. Peptides are not a supplement, you guys. They are prescribed medications, and they get the job done. Okay, it's not a shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of sorta. They work. Like Carmen. Carmen has been on a GLP-1 journey for 3 weeks. Carmen, how much have you lost?
3 weeks, 11 pounds.
11 pounds. Oh my gosh, that's an
E-
update. 11 pounds in 3 weeks. Like, look at her face.
11 pounds in 3 weeks. I know. It's like, oh my gosh. I look at it in the mirror and I'm like, oh wow, I like it.
It's
Yeah, I feel great. And that's what I tell everyone. I got tired of just wasting my money trying every new product out there. And Shana, she's watching, and she knows every time I would try a new product, she would message me and she would say, girl, it's like, you know what you need to do, but let me try it. I just want to try it because, I guess people don't know what they don't know, and that's what scares them. So, it's like I've tried everything, and nothing was working. So for me, 3 weeks, and I already can tell that it has changed so many things for me. So yeah, I mean, we've tried everything, and I feel that anyone watching, if they have tried every single product out there, or they're spending way too much money using different products, just stop and just go for this, because I am proof that they work and they can change your life immediately. I mean, my first week, even my like 2 days after, I was like, wait, I was cleaning my son's room. I was cleaning my kitchen cabinets. I was doing things that I haven't done in years. So for me, it's huge. Julie, I just love your story because it's just, you were talking about everything you've gone through, and you were talking to about me too. I had a hysterectomy, a full hysterectomy at 40. I don't know if I mean, people have heard this. 40s, they used to say 40s is the new 20s. So I was eager to turn 40 because I'm like, oh, I'm going to feel like 20 again. And for me, 40 was the new 80s. I went downhill, like my health went downhill. And so everything you were saying is like, yeah, my feet were also hurting all the time, all the puffiness all over my face, my body. After cancer, I didn't have to go through chemo, thank but I did radiation and that damaged my skin. It did so much. But anyways, so you already pretty much explained everything. If someone that is watching right now or someone who wants to get started, what do they have to do?
Sure. So here's one thing, you guys, and I also want to just talk to you about this really quickly. GLPs are for not just people that want to lose weight. And my story is more of a menopause story. I did have a little bit of weight to lose, but GLPs are also for people who have just inflammation. They're going through the change, they're dealing with all the things that we kind of out. You might not necessarily need to lose a lot of weight, but what is so great about it is that you can actually do it in different forms and get different doses for different things. So, for me, I do them for somebody else that maybe needs to lose a little bit more weight. They might do, they tier into what we call our weight loss program. And that's really good too. So just keep that in mind that GLPs can do just so much more than just lose weight. So here's the deal. If you want to get started, you could get started a couple different ways. But the first thing that I would do is get a hold of Carmen, and she is going to send you a link. And literally, she's going to walk you through the steps. It's very, very, very simple. We are affiliated with an upscale telehealth company. So we're just going to point you in the direction of talking to the doctor. You're going to pick your medication, which Carmen is going to help you with. You're going to fill out a medical questionnaire. So they're going to ask you all the different questions that you need to know. It's very, very, very buttoned up. Then it's going to go to our team of telehealth doctors. They're going to review your intake, and then they're going to prescribe the medication, and then it is going to be shipped out. Within 7 to 10 business days. So one thing I also love about LAMD is we are that platform for you, right? That we can help you if you do not have insurance. We do not take insurance, but we have so many different ways that you can come here. And one is all major credit cards are accepted. We do fancy financing through LEMD and or an outside source like Klarna or Care Credit if you have that. We also take your HSA and your FSA if you have that. So if you're in corporate America or you have, an HSA or FSA plan, you can use that here too at Ellie, which is so nice. So they give you all the different ways to be able to afford. And also, just so you know, Ellie is very, very, very I feel like affordable. When I look at the different places and knowing that this is safe and effective and you get doctor care, I think that that's pretty amazing. So just knowing that you can, get with Carmen and she can walk you through all of those things, but it's very, very, very simple.
So one of the things that one of my friends that her biggest concern was she she has heard about all the side effects, and she was worried that she would start here and then she would also experience the side effects. What are some tips that you would give to someone who is just getting started?
Okay, so first of all, most of the side effects are when you are not properly dosing. Okay, so at Ellie, we start you out on a very, very low dose and work your way into it. So we just don't just come in and just go, boom, you're on the highest dose, and you're like, oh, we don't do that, right? Because that's not safe and it's not effective by any means. But some of the things that you can have are nausea, right? On shot day, you might have nausea. So what we say is, eat a little more protein on shot day, or when you take your medicine, right? Make sure you're really getting a lot of food in there and doing that. We also give Zofran, just in case you might have some nausea. The other thing you might have is you might be constipated. We suggest, you really drink a lot of water when you're going through this. Getting your hydration in 3 giant Stanleys full a day is super important. You do not have a, like some type of diet here. You don't need to have a diet. You just need to kind of know how your body is going to react. There is no food restrictions, right? We don't restrict food here at all. But what you're going to see is that on these different medications, they're going to get rid of food noise, which if you've never experienced what food noise is, this is amazing because I used to like do this. I'm going to diet. I'm going to diet. I'm going to diet. I'm going to lose this weight. All I thought about was food, food, food. And then my cortisol level shot up and then I gained more weight, right? It's a vicious cycle. Here, when you take your medicine, you don't have food noise. And then it also slows down your digestive tract. So it keeps you fuller longer. With that being said, there are some tips and tricks. You need to get your protein in. You must get in 100 grams of protein plus a day. You need to start eating protein first. You have to eat. Like people that don't eat on this, you have to eat. If you don't eat on this, then and you feel like, oh, I don't want to eat at all, that's too much. You're taking too much. So you're going to have to take your dose down a little bit, right? Because you do need to eat. You need to eat your protein first, 100 grams. So that's 30 grams at each sitting. If you're going to breakfast 30 grams, you eat that 30 grams before you eat anything else. Same with lunch, same with dinner. Okay, you don't have to snack anymore, which is great. And you get to, meal prep protein, 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 right? So it's kind of like
Yes.
taking that triangle, that food triangle that we used to look at. It's all like fruits, vegetables, and then the protein. Flip it upside down. Do protein first, fruits and vegetables, or vegetables and fruit. Do it just kind of like reversing that triangle. That is going to help immensely. Getting your hydration in is going to help immensely. Getting your fiber intake is going to be great. Then you're going to get all your nutrient absorption, and you're going to be just fine. Getting in your steps is important. Walking at least 3 to 4 times a week. We need to move anyway. Like we're getting older, we need to
Yes.
move, do all of that, right? For our bone density reasons. And then also, just making sure if you have light weights, it could be a laundry basket, right? It could be, carrying your milk in and out of the house. I don't know, whatever, but light weights important too, especially at our age. We should be doing that. That's normal. With anytime you lose weight quickly, there can be side effects. Okay, so that's not just a GLP journey, that's on any journey. There can be. So you just have to be ready for this and know that it's going to be an appetite suppressant like no other, and you're going to need to eat appropriately. That's truly the name of the game. Sometimes you can be a little bit nauseous, but I have to tell you, I've been on this journey now for a little over a year, and I have never had any symptoms, but I'm prepared and I eat right. I get my water and my hydration in, I get my fiber in, and I've been fine. So majority, I would say 99% of people are going to be fine if you follow the right protocols. If you're going to a doctor's office and they know nothing about any of this and they're just like, here, we're going to give you this, and then you go home and you don't have any idea, well, you wouldn't know. Right here at Ellie, we have a platform for our customers, and they're able to get on different calls. They're able to have a support group. We have all of that. So that's super nice. It's a whole nother reason why I picked this platform with Ellie, is because they had all of this information for me. So I thought that was really great too.
That's so good. And that's so important. I'm so happy. And I just want to say thank you, Julie, for taking the time and doing this video with me. I appreciate you. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to message me. But if you have been struggling, if you have tried everything, if you feel that nothing is working, give it a try, because that was me. I had tried everything, nothing was working. And look at me, 3 weeks in, and I feel so good. So, again, any questions, message me. And again, Julie, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.